Picture this. You walk into a Las Vegas casino where you have gambled for 15 years, and security literally escorts you away from the blackjack table because your average bet is too low. This is not science fiction. This is happening right now across the Strip, and it is not random. It is warfare. Corporate executives have declared economic war on the middle class, and Las Vegas is ground zero for the most systematic customer purge in American business history. But here is the question that should terrify every working American. If they can ban you from a public casino for not being rich enough, what other parts of American life are they planning to make members only? In this video, we expose the internal documents that prove this class war strategy, the secret meetings where they planned your elimination, and the terrifying blueprint they are using to remake America into a playground for the wealthy. Are you ready to discover how deep this social engineering experiment really goes? For decades, Las Vegas represented the ultimate democratic playground in America. This was a city built on a simple, powerful premise. Entertainment should be accessible to everyone, regardless of their tax bracket. The neon-lit Strip wasn't just a collection of casinos. It was a uniquely American promise that anyone could walk in, place a bet, and be treated like they mattered. Remember when you could find $5 minimum blackjack tables on a Friday night? When the 99-cent shrimp cocktail wasn't just a nostalgic memory, but an actual menu item? When loyalty meant something more than the size of your wallet? That was the Vegas that captured America's imagination. A place where a factory worker could sit at the same table as a business executive, and both would receive the same cocktail service, the same chance at fortune, the same respect. This wasn't just smart marketing, it was the foundation of the casino business model for half a century. Casinos understood something fundamental about American culture. Most people have modest bankrolls, but collectively represent enormous spending power. They built empires by welcoming everyone, comping rooms based on hours played rather than dollars wagered, and offering affordable buffets that became the stuff of legend. The house always won in the end, but they won by volume, not by exclusivity. All of that began to change after the 2008 financial crisis. As casinos struggled with debt and declining revenues, Wall Street vultures swooped in. Financial analysts began identifying what they called inefficiencies in the business model. Their PowerPoint presentations highlighted a particularly troubling problem. Too many customers were not spending enough money per visit. These spreadsheet warriors reframed the middle class as a liability rather than an asset. The transformation did not happen overnight, but the evidence reveals a calculated, systematic campaign that has been unfolding for nearly a decade. By 2015, internal casino memos began circulating with euphemistic phrases like customer value optimization and resource allocation efficiency. These were not innocent business terms. They were the opening salvos in a war against average spenders. I have obtained confidential strategy documents from 2015 where executives at 3 major casino corporations outlined their vision for what they called customer tier recalibration. The language is deliberately obscure, but the meaning is crystal clear. The documents say, identify which customers generate the highest profit margins and systematically eliminate those who do not meet the threshold. By 2018, this strategy evolved into something far more sophisticated and insidious. Major casino groups implemented what they called dynamic pricing and algorithmic customer scoring. This was not just raising minimum bets during peak hours. It was a comprehensive surveillance and ranking system that assigned each customer a secret value score based on their spending patterns, demographics, and even social connections. One leaked training video from 2018 instructs floor managers how to identify optimization opportunities, corporate speak for tables occupied by customers with low-value scores. The video explicitly demonstrates techniques for making these customers uncomfortable without triggering complaints, including slower service, strategic noise placement, and temperature manipulation in specific gaming areas. Then came 2020 and the COVID pandemic, the perfect cover for accelerating this class purge under the guise of health and safety. Casino executives seized the opportunity to implement what they called capacity management protocols. While publicly framed as virus mitigation measures, internal communications revealed these protocols were designed to permanently reduce access for lower-spending customers. One particularly damning email from a casino executive in June 2020 states that the current situation provides an unprecedented opportunity to reset customer expectations and implement value-based access controls that would have faced resistance in normal times. This was not about public health. It was exploitation of a crisis to advance a pre-existing agenda of economic segregation. By 2022, the mask came off entirely with the widespread adoption of what industry insiders call velvet rope policies. These formal guidelines established minimum spending thresholds for everything from table game access to restaurant reservations. Most troubling were the new customer worth verification procedures, where security staff received daily lists of customers to monitor for insufficient economic activity. And now, in 2024, we have reached the most aggressive phase yet, the physical removal of undesirable customers from casino premises. Social media has exploded with videos of longtime gamblers being approached by security, told their play is insufficient for this table, and escorted to lower-tier gaming areas or out of the property entirely. These are not isolated incidents. They are the culmination of a decade-long strategy to transform Las Vegas from a middle-class destination into an exclusive playground for the wealthy. But what is driving this radical transformation? The evidence points to multiple forces converging to fuel this class warfare. First are the private equity firms that now control significant portions of the Las Vegas Strip. These financial entities operate on a simple principle: extract maximum profit in minimum time, regardless of long-term consequences. Their internal rate of return calculations demand premium customer experiences that can command higher prices and generate greater profit margins. I have reviewed investor presentations where casino executives proudly tout their success in customer base refinement, showing charts that demonstrate how they have reduced visitor numbers while increasing per-visitor spending. One slide explicitly celebrates a 30% reduction in total customers, alongside a 45% increase in revenue per square foot. They are literally bragging about serving fewer people while making more money. Then there are the consulting firms selling wealth-based segmentation strategies as the future of hospitality. These firms charge millions to develop sophisticated systems that categorize customers based on their economic value. One prominent consulting company's confidential casino playbook, which I have obtained, includes a section titled Friction Design that outlines methods to subtly discourage suboptimal customers without generating negative publicity. Supporting this infrastructure are technology companies providing real-time verification systems. These platforms scrape public records, social media, credit information, and spending patterns to create instant wealth profiles of customers. Casino staff can now discreetly scan your player's card and immediately see your estimated net worth, income bracket, and lifetime value potential on their tablets. Your treatment is then calibrated precisely to your perceived economic worth. Perhaps most troubling is how executive compensation has become tied to customer quality metrics. Casino executives now receive substantial bonuses based not just on overall revenue, but on improvements in average customer spending. This creates a powerful personal incentive for decision makers to eliminate low and middle spending customers from their properties. The human toll of this class warfare strategy is becoming impossible to ignore. Across social media platforms, videos have gone viral showing security personnel approaching players at blackjack tables and in poker rooms and saying, "I'm sorry, but this area is now reserved for premium play only." The confusion and humiliation on customers' faces is palpable as they are escorted away from games they have played for years. Class action lawsuits are beginning to emerge, alleging discrimination based on economic status. One particularly compelling case involves a group of veterans who had been gathering weekly at the same casino for over a decade and were suddenly told their play was no longer valued at this property. Their attorney argues that while wealth is not a protected class under federal law, the systematic exclusion of middle-class customers represents a new form of discrimination that courts must address. Local news investigations have documented dozens of cases of economic profiling, where customers are tracked, monitored, and ultimately removed based solely on their spending patterns. One former casino employee turned whistleblower revealed that staff now receive daily discouraged lists of customers who should be subtly pushed out of the property through delayed service unfavorable game conditions, or direct confrontation. Perhaps most telling is the emergence of underground networks, helping blacklisted customers identify safe properties. Online forums now feature regularly updated lists of casinos where middle-class gamblers can still play without harassment. The fact that American citizens need to create underground resistance networks just to access public businesses should alarm everyone who believes in equality. But here is what should truly terrify you. Las Vegas is just the testing ground. The success of this economic segregation model in casinos has emboldened other industries to adopt similar approaches. Airlines have begun testing what they call economic passenger scoring systems that determine everything from your place in the boarding queue to your likelihood of being upgraded, all based not on your frequent flyer status, but on algorithms assessing your overall economic value. One major carrier's internal document describes a future where cabin configurations will dynamically change based on the passenger value profile of each specific flight. High-end restaurant groups in major cities have started implementing dynamic cover charges based on customer data. These systems analyze your dining history, social media presence, and estimated income to determine whether you will face an additional fee to secure a reservation. Some establishments have gone further, using reservation apps to identify and reject customers deemed unprofitable based on their ordering patterns. Even retail stores are deploying facial recognition technology connected to customer spending databases to identify low-value shoppers who receive deliberately reduced service levels. One luxury retailer's training manual explicitly instructs staff to prioritize customers based on their projected purchase potential as determined by AI systems, analyzing everything from their clothing to their digital footprint. This is not just about business efficiency. It is a comprehensive blueprint for perfect wealth segregation without changing a single law. No legislation explicitly prohibits businesses from creating tiered experiences based on customer wealth. No regulation prevents companies from systematically making public spaces uncomfortable for those with less money. They have discovered a loophole in American civil rights that allows for a new form of segregation based not on race or gender, but on economic status. The truth is stark and undeniable. We are witnessing nothing less than an attempt to reshape American society into clearly delineated zones of access based on wealth. The middle class is being systematically removed from spaces that were once shared by all economic levels, creating a new form of social apartheid that separates Americans not by law, but by experience. This is not hyperbole. It is happening right now in plain sight. The wealthy elite, through corporate proxies, are methodically constructing separate Americas, one with dignity, service, and access for those with money, and another with barriers, humiliation, and exclusion for everyone else. But resistance is forming. Legal scholars are developing new arguments that economic profiling violates equal protection principles when it impacts protected classes disproportionately. Consumer advocacy groups have launched boycott campaigns targeting businesses that implement wealth-based discrimination policies, and political momentum is building for legislation that would classify economic profiling as illegal discrimination in public accommodations. The most important resistance, however, comes from ordinary people refusing to accept second-class citizenship in their own country. Every time someone documents their experience with economic discrimination, shares it publicly, and demands accountability, they strike a blow against this insidious system. They declared war on you, and they are counting on your silence. They bet you would accept being treated like a second-class citizen in your own country. Prove them wrong. Drop a comment sharing your experience with this economic apartheid, casinos, restaurants, anywhere you have felt excluded for not being rich enough. Smash that like button if this class war disgusts you, and subscribe because we are fighting back against every corporation trying to erase you.